Wonderful playing, bravo. Beautiful playing. Well, not surprisingly, Annette, you are a fully formed artist with a strong point of view and a great accomplishment. It's very sophisticated playing. And on one level, you know, there's a part of me that just says, this is beautiful and really appealing and good. Leave it alone and just, you know, say thank you very much, next. But there was a thought that occurred to me while I was listening to you, which is that I got lost. I got lost. You know, when there's somebody very, very beautiful, sometimes one gets lost in their beauty, and I got lost in the beauty of your playing, and I didn't know where I was. I know the piece, but I couldn't follow what was happening. So what I'd like to do is to explore with you what's really happening in this piece so that we can do everything you're doing but make more sense of it. Because in a sense, a composer like Bach is telling a story. It's not like Tchaikovsky telling, or Prokofiev telling the story of Romeo and Juliet where you know the characters, but there's a story going on here. So what's happening at the beginning is that he has a D. This first D goes to C sharp, and then it goes back to D. So in a sense, these 4 bars are saying, I'm in D minor. Many pieces do that. I mean, in fact, if you like, most pieces say, hello, I'm in E flat major. Okay, now we can start. Or says, I'm in C minor. Or I'm in C minor. That's what they're saying. So this, I'm in D minor, right? So if you could do that opening and notice, I don't know if you did notice or you're aware of that, you play the opening quite a bit slower than you play this passage. Would you do from here once? And this is the big climactic moment on the dominant. To start the piece at that speed, it would be. Had you noticed that? Isn't that an interest? You had noticed it. Would you say, you would either say, well, I'll do it and nobody will notice, or you'll say, it's my music, I can do whatever I want with it, or you can say, bother, that's something I really have to deal with. Right, and I think that's what we're saying here. If you decide to change the tempo in a piece of Bach, because Bach, when he wrote a piece, it had one idea. It doesn't have a second theme, conclusion theme, development, nothing. It's just one idea from beginning to end, like an architectural piece. It's like an arch in a cathedral. So it has to have some logic from beginning to end, and that's the first thing. You change the tempo. So let's do these first 4 bars at that tempo and see if you can make the audience feel that they're establishing the key of D minor. Can I suggest, don't rush da 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 dee, because the interesting note is the C sharp, isn't it? D, C sharp, and then back to D. Good. Do you see that? It's a real sense. She's 4 years old. I have no idea whether she can hear D minor, saying, I'm in D minor. But if you do it really convincingly, you'll say, even to Eileen, who's 4, who wasn't quite sure whether she should go. She sat through the class last week, 2 hours, right? Beautifully and quietly, and then her father said, would you like to go again? And she said yes. So would you please play for Eileen that D minor? Don't look at your cello, look at Eileen and see whether you're telling the story. Pretty clear. I think maybe she has some vague sense that something was being told. So that's D minor. Now what happens? The D goes to, well, what? D to C, and then B flat. All right, and what happens to the B flat? What's the next event for the bass, for the B flat?
It kind of ravels into
Yeah, not kind of anything. It goes to A. So B flat goes to A. And what happens to the A? You have to follow the track like a railway track to the G, exactly. And then the G should go down to where would it go? D, C, B flat, A to G, and then to F, exactly. But it doesn't want to go to F immediately because it would be too soon. So it goes back up to A, B flat, B natural, and then finally down to F. So it's like this: D, That's what that whole 13 bars, 12 bars of music is about. Isn't that fascinating? That whole thing. Now, if you could play that again and tell that story so that maybe we shouldn't expect a 4-year-old to even imagine such a thing, but maybe it's possible, right? Here we go, from the beginning. Can I suggest you because then what you're doing is saying D F A. You're presenting the whole chord D F A, right? Instead of do, because what you do is you're very musical and you're very imaginative and you're very romantic. But Bach is interested in something else. He's interested in an architectural structure. You got that? So, and then he repeats it 1/3 higher to give more intensification, and then back down to 1. 1-5-1 at the beginning. 1. And now more intense. And because Bach is a very helpful composer, he repeats the B flat so that Eileen can tell that this B flat and that B flat are connected. So take a little bit of time and tell the audience so everybody can say, oh, it's gone from B flat to A. They may not be able to identify the note, but they will say, ah, that's what's happening. So B flat. Beautiful, wow, that was great. And if you raise your eyebrows, it helps even more. Right. And everybody say, oh, wow, that's where it's going. Once again, right? Be a teacher. Be a teacher when you're playing. Don't play for yourself, play for the audience. Tell them, here, B flat, tell the story, B flat. And then it goes to G. Now expecting an F. And then to F. Now, who could miss that, right? That's telling the story of the piece. And it's gone from D to F. Now it starts again, F. Now he's a little cheeky here because the F sharp resolves in the middle of that bar to G. And so it goes F to F sharp, and then to G, and then to G sharp, and then to A, and then to B, and then to C, and then to D, and then to E, right? Is that, you see, should we do that? So tell Eileen the story. Here we go. Yeah, my suggestion is, since you want to make that very clear, de-emphasize everything else. You love that D because you have a beautiful cello and you want to show everybody how beautiful the D is. But the D has nothing to do with this line. So de-emphasize it and make sure that you're on that path. Here we go, F. In order to help the audience, they won't know it unless you help them to bring out that G a little bit, because that's the resolution of the F sharp, isn't it?
Yes.
So help, don't rush over that note, because that should have a little star over it. Okay, here. E is an arrival point. E in the key of D minor is the dominant of the dominant, right? Right. So he's arrived at somewhere, but now he says, oops, where do I go from here? So for a few bars, he wanders about, not quite sure what to do. Incidentally, that was great. I mean, there was absolutely no doubt in the mind of the audience what was happening. Should we do it one more time and really lock it in place? And then when you get to the E, incidentally, you're making a lot of these high notes, which are beautiful, but make sure that you make the bass rise, because this is the destination. Now here, we're going to wander, not quite sure, and look confused, because the music is confused. Right? Then at this point it says, okay, let's go to A. But of course it's too early to get to A. A is the dominant, but we don't want to arrive at A there. So he says, oops, and he goes to F sharp and starts another scale motion. Should we do that? So go from, one more time from F, F, F. And make the journey like this, as if you're saying F, F sharp, G, A, B, C, D, E. Oh, where am I? All right, just like that. F. Let me just tell you one tiny little thing. This is so minute. When you play this, just do this again. That's the tempo you want to play there because it's so exciting. Do the same tempo here. And now build. And then it goes to C. We've arrived in A minor, but A minor, it's too early to get to A, so we're going to disappear. Bravo, that was beautiful. And you see how the faster tempo helps, because you don't get so bogged down in each note. You're on the destiny, like on a railway. Okay, so we got to A minor, and we don't want to be in A minor, so we're going to go down to F sharp. And let's see what happens to that F sharp. A, now F. To G, A, to B, to C sharp, to D, to E, to F, G, and now we're in A major. Right, now that's the destination. Now we're in the right place to be in the dominant of the piece. And incidentally, if you count the bars, there are 60 of them, and that's in the middle of the 30th bar. Bach actually was an architect. He thought that way. He thought in terms of arches. So you've got this one arch from D to F, and another arch from F to A. Huge, with one arch small like this, and then a huge arch like this to A, and then there's going to be another small arch. And notice that the first arch is D, and then F, and then A. So at the beginning of the piece, he's telling the story of the whole drama. Now we're going to go one more time from this, and then I'm going to show you something really amazing about what happens here. So we're going from F sharp. This is bar 25. Yeah, but make sure you play that F sharp as if you know that it's going to go to G a bar later. That's the way to play. Now, I don't know whether Eileen got it, but Eileen's father went. That's what he went. You went to the G and he said, like that, right? I mean, it was just like, of course, the F sharp has to go to G, right? So your job is to tell the story. So everybody says, yes. And I don't know whether a 4-year-old has any idea whether we're talking Greek here, but maybe we could even get to a 4-year-old. Wouldn't that be amazing? F sharp again. No, play the F sharp as if you knew it was going to go to the G. No, the next note is A, right? This was beautiful. Once again, F sharp. Now something really amazing happens. Would you play from there? We'll get to that very bar. Are you ready? 2. That whole section of music is under a pedal A that never releases. So now, what does that do to our performance? Well, you have to keep that A going, 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 and not letting it relax at any point. Even when there's a G sharp, it's over an A. Mm-hmm. So, whoa, dee, dee. So let's try from there, from here. And this would be like a fortepiano because we're starting again new. And you don't let go until you arrive in that chord and you fill the cathedral with that chord, and it goes and it goes. You know, in Bruckner's Cathedral in St. Florian in Linz, if you play a chord, it goes for 7 seconds. Resonance, resonance. So that's what Bach knew, the resonance of a church here from here. Now you've got to come way down because we're going to build a huge crescendo, right? Okay. And the A, whenever you get an A, give it extra time. A to A, it goes to A, and then to A, and then so here we go. No, it's not the G sharp, it's the A. Right? Always to A once again. No, to A. To A and then to A. To A. Keep it moving. To E. To A. You hear the A? Here it comes, guitar, guitar. Wow, that's it. Up until that moment. That's one of the most dramatic moments in all of Bach. I can't think of anything more dramatic. Now comes an interesting problem. Every cellist, influenced, I think, by Casals, plays soft here. Casals used to play pianissimo here. I say, or at least I ask, so far there's no question. I mean, the structure is clear. Here, I wonder whether we shouldn't go on, because this chord has still not been resolved. Yeah. Try that. You do the big chord, Yes, from here. And here we are. Now, there's that chord again. Isn't that the same chord?
Yeah.
Exactly. So nothing has been resolved. Now do this. Ta. Yes, yes, yeah, yeah. And that's the resolution. That's the resolution in that bar, which is bar 55, of the A that has been set in motion in 30.
Right.
And then you have a tiny little coda at the end, which goes D, E, F, G, A, and back to D. Now, if you do this, what I'm suggesting, and play fortissimo here, then the end will be soft, right? Because the relaxation. So should we just try one and try and drive from this chord to that chord? Here we go. Yes. Now take all the time. Beautiful, beautiful. Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here with your cello. Eileen, we're going to tell you a story. A story that Bach told. I need a chair. I'll bring my chair. Okay. Are you ready, Eileen, for this story? Now, so don't look at here. Look here. You have the opportunity of playing for quite a number of people, but mainly for this little one. See if you can get her attention. Are you ready? Bravo. So Annette, you're a beautiful cellist. You're a beautiful person. You're extremely artistic. So I want to add two things to your life. One is musical intelligence. So you tell a story with music that everybody can follow. Right? That's another domain for you coming now. You're a fantastic instinctive musician. But Bach was an architect. I mean, do you notice how these two arches, the 13 bars at the beginning, then 30 bars in the middle, with the apex being in the middle of the 30th bar, and then another arch at the end, just like a building. And so Bach wanted simplicity, he wanted absolute clarity, but he also wanted fervor. You know what he wrote at the end of every piece when he finished? You know what words he wrote? For the glory of God. Right. So the other thing I want for you in your life is fervor and the passion of a preacher. I want you to be a preacher for music, a preacher for life, a preacher for the glory of God. You don't have to believe in God, that's nothing to do with it. You know, you can believe in Santa Claus or not, but Christmas is great anyway. All right. So feel the fervor, feel the passion, the desire to get the audience to move with you on this journey and not to be distracted one way or another because the line is so clear. Okay. Is that right? So you'll have to change your personality, or should I say, more importantly, add to your personality. Because there's a little bit of, and I find this in the orchestra too, when you're leading. I want everybody, and she leads a section with 16 cellists in the youth orchestra. And I want every one of those cellists, even right to the very back, to know exactly what to do because of the way you're being. And when you do that, you'll become more than just a beautiful cellist. You'll become a great artist. Okay, well done. Thank you. Hey, Annette, come back. You're a great cellist. You're a miserable bower. Now, let me tell you what's going on. There are about 75 people in the room, and they've totally fallen in love with you, not just because you're a beautiful young woman, but because you are a great preacher. You've told them the story. So now they're saying thank you, and you say thank you for listening. Thank you, thank you, thank you for listening. And they've got to see on your body that you feel deep gratitude to them for giving you their full attention. All right? So when I finish a concert, I go to the front door and I thank the people for coming, thank you, and I check out whether their eyes are shining. Look, you see, their eyes are, look, here, tell them. You see, look, eyes are shining. If the eyes are shining, look, all those people shining. Look how they're shining. You see, that's all I care about. I care about shining eyes, that's all I care about. And if the eyes are shining, you've done it, you see. And then when they give you your shining eyes, you say, you thank her again, please. Here, you can, yes, thank you. And you say, thank you. Great, beautiful. All right. Wonderful.